Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and it's tier list time, and we are going to go over the most oft-requested tier list I've ever had, and it's our 10k sub celebration. It's going to be the largest tier list we've ever done, and then we're going to take a look at the entire classic expansion set in Hearthstone. It's like over 200 cards, so buckle in. It's going to be a long one, but we're going to go as fast as possible. If the card's like not worth talking about much, we're going to speedrun it. And also, I picked the giveaway winner for the Mega Bundle. I'm highlighting the message here. That's your name. Make sure you join my Discord, message me, or there's an email in my description. Message me with proof that it's you, and I'll hook you up with your Mega Bundle, or comment below a way I can reach you, all that stuff. As always, comment below with the suggestions for the next tier list. Anyways, let's get going. Let's rate every single classic card from S to F, S being a god tier card, auto-include in a bunch of decks, with F being just unplayable trash you would hate to take an arena. So let's get going, starting with Abomination. 5-mana 4/4 taunt, death rattle, deal 2 damage to all characters. Pretty much unplayable, not very good, stats suck. The effect can destroy you on board, but I have seen it teched in as certain AoE options every once in a blue moon, so I'll give it a C. We have Abusive Sergeant, 1-mana 1/1, Battlecry, give a friendly minion +2 attack this turn. Decent in like Zoo, all that kind of stuff. It pops up here and there, we'll give it a B. Next we have a Shaman Legendary, Alakir the Windlord, 8-mana 3/5. It's got Wind Fury, Charge, Divine Shield, Taunt, and it's okay. It's not amazing. You don't see it pop up in my Shaman list. Popped up in like even Shaman, some Elemental lists. I'll give it a B. It is a pretty decent card that pops up here and there, but overall, not the most amazing thing in the world. Next, we have Alarmobot. It's a 3-mana 0/3 mech, and at the beginning of your turn, or your next turn, you summon a random minion from your hand. Unplayable meme garbage. I probably saw play like OG Hearthstone days where you would try and cheat out like a Deathwing, but overall, just not really anything you're ever going to put in your deck. I mean, it's never going to live. It's never going to do anything. Gotta give it an F, but you know, it's a decent meme. We have Aldor Peacekeeper, Paladin minion, 3-mana 3/3. Change the enemy minion's attack to 1. This was a really good auto-include in Paladin for a very long time, but hasn't seen play in recent days, but incredibly powerful card. Neutralizing a minion like that and gaining a little bit of tempo could be really powerful. I'll give it a B. Definitely a pretty decent card. Alexstrasza, 9-mana 8/8 Dragon. Battlecry, set a hero's health to 15 that can be your own or an enemy. Really good in like combo burn decks. It can be used defensively. It's a dragon. It does a lot of good stuff. It's definitely S tier. Alexstrasza has been meta basically its entire run and continues to be to this day. We have a Amani Berserker, 2-mana 2/3 minion, has +3 attack while damaged. Decent little tempo minion, popped up most recently in like aggro Demon Hunter as like an enraged target. Seen it in Mage because they can ping it. Not too bad. It's definitely a B tier minion. You know, premium stats with a good aggressive upside definitely is a solid addition to a lot of aggro decks. Next we have Ancestral Spirit, 2-mana shaman spell. Give a minion death rattle, resummon this minion. I mean, it sees play in like Big Shaman and Wild, and you know, historically not a heck of a lot. It's decent in those decks, but those decks, again, it's so niche. I'll give it a high C. It just doesn't pop up in enough stuff for me to warrant it as like a B tier card, but definitely, you know, pops up every once in a while. Next we have Ancient Brewmaster, 4-mana 5/4 Battlecry. You basically bounce the minion back to your hand. Overall, you almost always run Youthful Brewmaster instead. This is expensive for the effect, although the stats aren't particularly bad. The only time I remember really seeing it being prevalent was like the OTK Paladin, where you would bounce your Horseman to your hand, and you only had so many bounces for that, or in a Liner Druid, because, well, you wanted to make sure you get your brand, so you'd play your tutor to get your lowest cost minion, and you didn't want it to be a panda. So I'll give it a C. It pops up occasionally, but exactly not a solid B tier minion that pops up a lot. We have Ancient Mage, 4-mana 2/5 Battlecry. Give adjacent minions spell damage +1. I don't think I've ever seen this see any realistic meta play. You can do some jank combos with it, kind of, but overall just really bad. I gotta give it an F. We have Ancient of Lore, 7-mana 5/5 Druid minion. Choose one, you either draw a card or restore 5 health. Hasn't really seen any play since its nerf. Drawing 1 card for 7 mana just ain't enough, and when we see cards like Twilight Runner, it just puts this one to shame. I'll give it a C though. It's not horrendous, but yeah, it's definitely not what it used to be. Next we have Ancient of War, Druid Epic, 7-mana 5/5. Choose one, gain +5 attack or +5 health and taunt. You almost always give this taunt, but sometimes you got balls and you uproot and hit your opponent. Hasn't really seen any meta play in recent times. Popped up a little bit in Quest Druid because you got a 7-mana 10/10, but even that wasn't strong enough. But overall, it's seen a lot of play throughout the history of Hearthstone. I'll give it a very low B. just for how meta it's been, but yeah, lately it just doesn't really make the cut. Ancient Watcher, 2 mana 4/5, can't attack. This was like a staple in Handlock way back in the day. You ton it up with Sun Fury, and Silence Priest would some occasionally run this because, you know, silencing it to 4/5 is pretty good. And, you know, hasn't really seen play in recent times. I'll give it the Ancient of War treatment, very low B, but it's been meta in a lot of different metas, so I'll give it that, just not in recent times. We have Angry Chicken, it's a 1 mana 1/1 beast, has +5 attack while damaged. I mean, you can meme about it, but it's an F. It's just unplayable garbage, but yeah, sure. Put your Angry Chicken deck, get your Embiggen Druid going, get your Angry Chickens, but it's not good. For Wrath the Weaponsmith, 4 mana 3/3, equip a 2/2 weapon. Decent warrior minion, really good pick in Arena. Occasionally pops up in tempo decks. There's just always better stuff in Warrior these days. I'll give it a high C. It does pop up in like the occasional like C tier lists, so I feel like it could be a C tier card. Next we have Arcane Devourer. You might not even know this is a card. It's one of the newer additions to the classic set. 8 mana 5/5 elemental. Whenever you cast a spell, gain +2/+2. I mean, you even feel bad when you like conjures into this. It's just really awful. You can't build your deck around it. It's way too expensive to try and start buffing this up with spells. Absolute F tier. Arcane Golem, 3 mana 4/4 Battlecry. Give your opponent an extra mana crystal. This is unplayable garbage. When it had charge, it was pretty good, but giving your opponent mana crystal for like +1 health just ain't worth it. We have Archmage Antonidas, 7 mana 5/7. Whenever you cast a spell, add a fireball to your hand. Staple, obviously, an Exodia Mage with Apprentice combos. Going 0 mana fireballs infinitely is pretty good, and also just can run as like a greed card. We've seen it like Reno Priest, stuff like that, giving you value. Has fallen off a lot in recent times, doesn't pop up that much, but it's definitely an A tier minion, legendary minion. It always seems to find a home somewhere, and he's just too freaking iconic to not at least be an A tier minion. Next we have Argent Commander, 6 mana 4/2 charge Divine Shield minion. This was actually a staple in Even Paladin for a little bit, and it pops up every once in a while, like decks that can utilize the charge ability. I remember in like Keleseth Rogue, you'd play this because you could run with like Corpse Taker. That would be a good synergy enabler. I'm going to put it with Abusive Sergeant. It's a pretty strong card. Doesn't pop up a lot, but it does pop up more often than you would think. You have Argent Protector, 2 mana 2/2 Paladin minion. Give a friendly minion Divine Shield. Decent card. Again, was like an Even Paladin a little bit. Overall, though, there's better options, better cards to put in your deck. I'll put it with the Weaponsmith. It's a solid card. It pops up once in a while, but definitely not of a higher tier. We have Argent Squire, 1 mana 1/1 Divine Shield minion. Staple in a lot of Zoo decks, a lot of aggressive decks that just want something to stick around, and it does a good job of that. I'll definitely give it a B. We have Armor Smith, 2 mana 1/4 Warrior minion. Whenever a friendly minion takes damage, you gain 1 armor. Staple in a ton of decks, whether it be, especially with Skipper now. Skipper Armor Smith is crazy, but even before that, you had like Death Spite, you had your Whirlwind effects. Gaining armor, incredibly powerful in Warrior. I'll give it an A for sure. Avenging Wrath, 6 mana Paladin epic spell. Deal 8 damage split randomly amongst enemies. Again, another Even Paladin card that saw a good amount of play, especially when the quality was 2 mana. You had 8 mana clear that would quite often do a lot of damage and you were an aggressive deck. That was pretty powerful, but Avenging Wrath hasn't really seen a ton of play lately, but has popped up occasionally, so I'll give it a C for that. We have Bane of Doom, 5 mana Warlock epic spell. Deal 2 damage. If it kills its target, it summons a demon, which could be something as crazy as Jiraxis or as bad as like a Blood Imp. Overall, the demon pool is way too inconsistent and bad for this card to be worth it, because 5 mana deal 2 is not very effective, but it has popped up very rarely once in a while. I'll give it the lowest of C's. We have Baron Geddon, 7 mana 7/5 neutral elemental legendary. Deals 2 damage to all characters. It was really good in OG, like Control Warrior. You could slay Shaman Totems and Paladin dudes pretty well with it, but there is a lot of better stuff to do in today's Hearthstone. I'll give it a low B, though. It definitely has popped up in Wild with Jaina. Getting that lifesteal is pretty sweet. Next, we have another one of the newer additions, Baron Stablehand, 7 mana 4/4. Battlecry, summon a random beast. Again, I've literally never seen someone play this in their deck, and that's because the average beast is absolutely terrible, and this is a 4/4 for 7 mana, so it's definitely an F tier minion. We have Battle Rage. It's a 2 mana warrior spell. Draw a card for every friendly damaged character. Incredibly powerful. It's seen play throughout the history of Hearthstone in almost just tons of warrior decks, whether it be like Patron Warrior or Raging Worgen combo. Any deck that likes to run Skipper, Dead Man's Hand. I'm actually going to give it A tier. This card is ridiculous. Card draw is super powerful, and it can quite often be like a 2 mana sprint or better. Next, we have Bestial Wrath, Hunter epic spell. Give a friendly beast +2 attack and immune. Pretty much never ever sees play unless you're Death Star, because he's a madman. He loves to main hunter. I'm going to give it the highest of Fs. It has popped up like super seldomly, but my god, it's just not a good card. So we have Betrayal, Rogue Spell, force a minion to deal damage to its neighbors. Pretty good Ethereal Lackey pick, good arena card, not a good ladder card, very, very seldomly, rarely run. But again, it's not exactly a terrible card, so I'll give it a C, just not that amazing. We have Big Game Hunter, 5 mana, 4/2, destroy Battlecry, destroy a minion with 7 attack or more health. This used to be 3 mana, was a really good card. 5 mana, it sees seldom play, but if like giants are super meta, there's a lot of big stuff, you'll definitely want to throw it in your deck. I'll give it a low B. It's a very good tech card, just not really that popular at the moment. We have Bite, 4 mana spell for Druid. Give your hero +4 attack and +4 armor. I don't think you're ever putting this in your Druid deck. There's just always better options. I'm giving it an F. We have Blade Flurry, 4 mana rogue spell. You destroy your weapon and deal its damage to all enemy minions. Used to go face, used to cost 2 mana, used to be insane. Now it's a fringe card in certain weapon decks. I'll give it a C. We have Blessed Champion, 5 mana, double a minion's attack. Absolutely terrible. I guess if you really want to hope to go jank combo and buff something like that in Paladin, it's just not good. It can hang out with Bite. It's an F tier card. We have Blessing of Wisdom. You choose a minion whenever it attacks, draw a card, 1 mana Paladin spell. Saw a little bit of play in like Shrivala Paladin. It pops up here and there. Paladin quite often has had card draw issues, and before Crystology came out, you kind of considered running it. But overall, it's not amazing. It does pop up here and there for Paladin. I'll give it a C. We have Blizzard, 6 mana mage spell. Deal 2 damage to all enemy characters and then freeze them. Staple in a ton of decks like Freeze Mage, Reno Mage. Just any slow deck that wants to stall the board. You can play this with Doomsayer. A lot of good stuff can come with Blizzard. I'll give it an A. It's just an incredibly powerful mage spell. We have Blood Imp, 1 mana, 0/1 demon for Warlock. Has stealth, and it gives random friendly enemy character +1 health. This was like was running like really, 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 really old school Zoo, and not really much since. I'll give it the lowest of C's. It can hang out with Bane of Doom, but it's at the fringe of being an F tier card. We have Blood Knight, Battlecry, destroys all divine shields in game, +3/+3 for all divine shields destroyed. This was really good when Giggling Inventor was meta. Other than that, I haven't really seen a heck of a lot of Blood Knight. Zephyrs will offer it once in a while. It's a very fringe tech card, but I'll throw it in as a C. It's not exactly horrendous. Blood Mage Thalnos is a 2 mana 1/1 legendary. Spell damage +1, death rattle, draw a card. This card has seen play into so many different decks, whether it wants to utilize a spell damage with like a Spirit Claws or Maelstrom Portal, or just, draw more cards in like Reno Priest or Freeze Mage or just anything. It's an incredibly powerful card. It's an S tier legendary, super versatile. It's only a 2 mana 1/1, but man, has he done some serious work. We have Bloodsail Corsair. It's a neutral pirate, 1 mana 1/2. Battlecry, destroy 1 durability of your opponent's weapon. The Battlecry of this card has rarely been relevant, although sometimes you run it for weapon removal, but very seldomly. It's the fact that it's a pirate and summon patches has made it pretty decent and is a staple in a lot of decks, and Wild especially, like Embiggen Druid. I'll give it a B for that. It's just a 1 mana 1/2 pirate. It's summon patches that makes it worth running. We have Bloodsail Raider, 2 mana 2/3 pirate. Battlecry, you gain the attack of your weapon. Staple and Pirate Warrior, and a few other pirate decks like that. Incredibly powerful, premium statted, pretty good. I'll give it the lowest of A's, but it's popped up in way too many pirate decks over the years to not have as an A tier card. We have Brawl. It's a 5 mana warrior epic spell. You destroy all minions except for one. One survives the Brawl. We all know Brawl's been like every control warrior deck ever. Odd Warrior, Bomb Warrior, incredibly good. It's S tier all the way. Warrior, where would they be out without Brawl? And people love to see it get Hall of Fame, the guys that want to go face. So yeah, Brawl is incredibly powerful. We have Brightwing, another one of the newer additions to the classic set. 3 mana 3/2 Dragon Battlecry. Add a random legendary to your hand. And like the other newer additions, this card's actually playable. I get a little bit of value. It's got Dragon Tag on it. It's been hard run in multiple decks. I'm actually going to give it a very low B. So we have Cabal Shadow Priest, Priest Epic, 6 mana 4/2 Battlecry. You gain control of an enemy minion with 2 attack or less. Really good right now in the meta with Wave of Apathy being a card. And it's seen play historically a good amount in Priest, especially with cards that have had Pint-Sized Potion and Shrinkmeister. I'm going to give it an A. It's a really, really strong Priest minion that can really infuriate people by stealing a really good minion. Next we have Karen Bloodhoof, 6 mana 4/5. Legendary minion, and has Death Rattle of summoning another 4/5. It's been power creep by a dragon that's a common, but it's still a decent card. You can throw it into some decks. It's been meta, especially in Priest is very popular, but not in recent times. I'll put it with Brightwing. It's a low B, but yeah, it has seen better days. We have another new addition to the classic set, Call of Void, 1 mana Warlock spell, add a random demon to your hand. This is absolute garbage, trash tier, Random demons aren't very good, and you don't even get like a mana cheat on it. It's just awful. Next, we have Captain Greenskin, 5 mana, 5/4 pirate, battlecry, give your weapon +1/+1. Incredibly versatile pirate in a ton of weapon decks. Giving your weapon +1/+1 is very good. I'll give it a high A. Not like an S tier auto-include minion, but if you're running weapons, there's a good chance you're putting Captain Greenskin in your deck. Next, we have Scenarios. 9 mana, 5/8 druid minion. Choose one. You either summon 2/2/2 treants with taunt, or give your other minions +2/+2. Really good in Quest Druid, and has been seen in like some, mid-range druid decks where you just play it as a decent, stat bomb. I'll give it a low A. Pops up in a good amount of druid decks. Has seen better days, but is certainly worth considering, even in the current meta in Quest Druid for sure. Next, we have Circle of Healing, 0 mana spell for Priest. Restores 4 health to all minions. Really good with Northshire and like Wild Pyro, drawing a bunch of cards. Those are all in the wild, so it's only really prevalent there, and that combo doesn't see a lot of play. And you also have like Auchenai Circle, and there's other meme potential. It's a decent card. It has seen a lot of play throughout the years of Hearthstone. It's just sad to see that it's kind of fallen off that type of archetype. I'll give it a B though. Absolutely a pretty darn good card. Next, we have Cold Blood, 2 mana rogue spell. Give a minion +2 attack, or combo, give it +4 attack. At 1 mana, this was busted. At 2 mana, it's just okay. I'll give it a B. You definitely can run it in like some aggressive lists, especially with the whole stealth package these days. We have Cold Light Seer, Murloc, 3 mana, 2/3 Murloc. Give your other Murlocs +2 health. Pretty good. You're playing a Murloc deck, you're putting this card in it. Getting buffs is really good. Unless you're playing anything Paladin, then you don't want to resummon that. Otherwise, it's really solid. I'll give it an A. Commanding Shout, warrior spell, 2 mana. You draw a card, and your friendly minions can't go below 1 health. It's decent, like Patron Warrior, kind of. Like, you could, play this, keep your minions immune, get some cycle, could do some decent stuff. But really, I do not recall the last time Commanding Shout has seen play. I'll give it a C. It's not a horrendous card. It just, when's the last time you saw that on ladder? Next, we have Kona Cold, 4 mana mage spell. Freeze a minion, the minions next to it, deal 1 damage to them. Decent, but there's better freeze options almost always. It has seen play in Freeze Mage every once in a while, but yeah, it's a C. It just doesn't really pop up anymore. We have Counter Spell, Mage Spell. You get to counter your next opponent's spell. They don't get to play it. It gets destroyed. Pretty powerful, especially in the aggressive Secret Mage decks. Doesn't see a lot of play in Standard for a long time, and it only really sees play in one Mage deck, in Wild and Secret Mage. But it's so freaking good, I'll definitely give it an A. Crazed Alchemist, 2 mana, 2/2 neutral minion, battlecry, swap a minion's health and attack. Kills Doomsayer, can do some stuff in like combo priest, like Inner Fire Priest. I'll give it a B. It's a decent tech option that pops up once in a while. Cruel Taskmaster, 2 mana, 2/2 warrior minion, battlecry. You get to deal 1 damage to a minion, give it +2 attack. Pretty good with like Rom back in the day. Hasn't really seen play. There's better enrage options, but I'll give it a C. Can go with a Wrathy Weaponsmith, kind of that territory. We have Cult Master, 4 mana, 4/2 neutral minion. Whenever a friendly minion dies, draw a card. This could be a good draw engine for any token deck, especially if they're lacking card draw in the current meta. So like you can look, for instance, even Libram Paladin has run it in recent times. I'll give it a B. It's a decent card, decent neutral card draw engine. We have Dark Iron Dwarf, 4 mana, 4/2 battlecry. Give a friendly minion +2 attack this turn. Decent, more of an arena card. It can be popped up in a couple of like Zooish decks, but overall not really at all. Lately, I'll give it a C. We have Deadly Shot, Hunter Spell, 3 mana, destroy random enemy minion. Decent removal, pops up here and there. We'll give it a B. We have Deathwing, 10 mana, 12/12 dragon, battlecry, destroy all minions, discard your hand. You know the drill. Really iconic dragon. Doesn't see a heck of a lot of play, but it pops up here and there. It could be a good last-ditch resort. I'll give it a B. We have Defender of Argus, 4 mana, 2/3 battlecry. Give adjacent minions +1 and taunt. Good in like Zooish decks, but again, it's just been better stuff to do for a long time. I'll give it a B, a low B with like Crazed Alchemist. It still can pop up here and there. Zephyrus likes it, but not really the card it used to be. Defias Ringleader, 2 mana, 2/2 rogue minion combo. Get a 2/1. I mean, it's arena pick. You're not really playing it on ladder. I'll give it a low C. We have Demolisher, 3 mana, 1/4 mech at the start of your turn, 2 damage to a random enemy. It's just garbage. You're never putting it in your deck. The stats suck, the effect sucks. It's an F. We have Demon Fire, 2 mana, 2 mana spell for Warlock, deals 2 damage, or give a friendly demon +2/+2. Decent in some Zoo decks, pops up here and there, but overall, there's usually better options. I'll give it a C. Direwolf Alpha, 2 mana, 2/2 beast, give adjacent minions +1 attack. Used to be a staple in Zoo, some other like token-based decks. Not so much these days, but I'll give it a low B. It definitely pops up here and there. Doomhammer, 5 mana, 2/8 Shaman Weapon, has Wind Fury and Overload 0/2. Incredibly powerful Shaman Weapon, staple in a ton of aggro decks. Yeah, really solid. I'll give it an A. Doomsayer, 2 mana 0/7, epic minion. At the start of your turn, destroy all minions. So if your opponent can't answer it, it clears the board unless there's death rattles. Incredibly powerful with cards like Frost Nova. Yeah, good anti-aggro option. One of my favorite, best designed cards, I think, in Hearthstone history. I'll definitely give it an A. Dread Corsair is a 4 mana 3/3 pirate, has taunt, costs 1 less for your each attack on your weapon, so often 0 mana with a 4 attack weapon. And yeah, good in pirate decks, good in weapon decks. I'll definitely give it an A. Very solid. We have Druid of the Claw, 5 mana 4/4. Choose one minion for Druid. It becomes either a 4/4 with charge or 4/6 with taunt. Used to be an auto-include staple in Druid for a long time, and in the last few years, not so much. I'll give it a low B, though. Definitely not the worst minion. Speaking of the worst minion, we have Dust Devil. It's a 1 mana 3/1 Wind Fury Overload 2 Shaman minion. Oh my god, is that bad? That dies to everything, and it's just awful. What the hell? Why is that still a card? We have Eagle Horn Bow, 3 mana 3/2 weapon for Hunter. Every time a secret is activated, you gain durability. It's been auto-include in tons of aggressive Hunter decks, whether they even run secrets or not. It's 3 mana, deals 6. Incredibly powerful. I will give it an S. It's just that Hunter weapon that always seems to pop up and always seems to be run. We have Earth Elemental, 5 mana 7/8 taunt, has Overload 3 for Shaman. Really kind of awful. The Overload just kills it. It gets destroyed by so many hard removals, but it's not horrendously bad. I'll give it a C, not quite an F. Earthen Ring Farseer, 3 mana 3/3 neutral minion, Battlecry, restore 3 health. The best healing option in the neutral set. It's decent, not amazing, but it pops up once in a while when neutral healing is awful. I'll give it a B. We have Earthshock, 1 mana Shaman spell, silence a minion, deal 1 damage to it. Good tech option in Shaman. Pops up here and there, not as much as people think for some reason. Some people think Earthshock's crazy, but it pops up every once in a while. I'll give it a B. We have Edwin Van Cleef, 3 mana legendary for Rogue. Combo game +2/+2 for every card you play this turn. Absolutely busted. Has stolen more games than probably any card in the history of Hearthstone. Makes it so the Rogue doesn't truly have a horrendous bad matchup, because if you high roll an early Edwin, can literally beat everything. I'll definitely give it an S. We have Emperor Cobra, 3 mana 2/3 poisonous minion. I mean, you're never really hard running it. It's okay. I'll give it a low C. We have a quality 4 mana Paladin spell. Change the health of all minions to 1. Used to be 2, and that'd probably be S tier. Now it's 4, and pops up very seldomly. I'll give it a C. Especially when you have like Libram Adjusted, you just don't need a quality in the current game. We have Ethereal Arcanist, 4 mana 3/3. If it controls secret any return game +2/+2. Despite how popular Secret Mage has been for so many years in Wild and throughout the formats, this card rarely makes the cut. It does pop up every once in a while on this list, but other than that, not so great, and it only can be run in those decks. I'll give it a C. We have Eviscerate, 2 mana, deal 2 damage, combo, deal 4. S tier card, really good removal, good burn, auto-include in a ton of Rogue decks. Next, we have Explosive Shot, 5 mana Hunter spell, deals 5 damage to a minion and 2 to adjacent ones. Decent removal option in Hunter. You just don't really care about this in Hunter. You'll pick it in Arena once in a while, but overall, it's a C, just not amazing. Explosive Trap is 2 mana Hunter Secret, deal 2 damage to all enemy characters. Decent like Face Hunter. You can use it as like quasi-AoE type of thing. It's pretty good. Pops up in a lot of Hunter decks. I'll give it an A. Definitely pretty solid. We have Eye for an Eye, 1 mana Paladin Secret. Yeah, you deal damage that you take to your enemy hero. Like, why? Just freaking awful. F tier. The good thing about it is, like, if a mage is at 1 and they have Ice Block up. Other than that, it's just unbelievably bad. Next, we have Faceless Manipulator, 5 mana 3/3 minion. Battlecry, you become a copy of another minion. Pretty good in, like, combo decks, like copying Malagos, or like a deck like Q-Block, where you can, you know, cube and Faceless the cube, or just Faceless the demon. We'll give it a B. It's a decent option in those decks, but it's more of those kind of greedy options or combo options. We have Fairy Dragon, 2 mana 3/2 dragon. Can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. Decent aggro minion. Pops up in those decks every once in a while. I'll give it a low B. We have Farsight, 3 mana shaman spell. You draw a card, it costs 3 less. It's one of the only card draw options Shaman has, and it's decent. I'll give it a B. We have Felguard, 3 mana 3/5 demon for Warlock. Battlecry, destroy a mana crystal. Just garbage. You can't de-ramp, and this just doesn't do enough. It's an F. I cannot recall people hard running Felguard ever. We have Fen Creeper, 5 mana 3/6 with taunt. It's okay, whatever. It's a C. It's, you know, it's fine. We have Feral Spirit, 3 mana spell for Shaman. Summon 2/3 wolves with taunt and Overload 2. It's good with Tunnel Trog. It's good in like certain Overload decks, but yeah, I don't know. I can't really give it a B. I'll give it a high C. It's not that meta ever, honestly. We have Flame Imp, 1 mana 3/2, Battlecry, deal 3 damage to your hero. Sometimes the self-damaging can be an asset in like Dark Lair or with a Spellstone, whatever. And I mean, this is Flame Imp. It's an auto-include in how many zoo decks, and just, it's a 1-mana 3/2 demon. What more do I need to say? It's an S-tier minion all the way. We have Flare, 2-mana spell for Hunter. You draw a card, minions with stealth, lose it, and you remove all secrets. So it's pretty decent little draw card, just, it's never good enough. But, you know, pops up once in a while, so I'll give it a C. We have Flesh-Eating Ghoul, 3-mana 2/3. Whenever minions die, gain +1 attack. I mean, it's like Fen Creeper. It's okay, but again, you're never putting in your deck, but it's not like a fail of a card. We have Force of Nature, 5-mana spell, summon 3/2/2 Treants. I mean, it's okay in like Treant Druid, but even then, a lot of times it doesn't make the cut, but I'll give it a C. It's okay. We have Forked Lightning, 1-mana, deal 2 damage to 2 enemy characters, Overload 2. The Overload 2 kills this, it's just not good enough. Like, maybe if it was Overload 1, but yeah, it's pretty awful. I'll give it an F. We have Freezing Trap, 2-mana Hunter Secret. When an enemy minion attacks, you send it back to opponent's hand, and it costs 2 more. Incredibly good. This is like in not only in aggressive hunters, but any hunter deck that wants to run a secret is running Freezing Trap. The best hunter secret of all time, probably, outside of maybe like Cat Trick, maybe. Just super good. Definitely S tier for me. Frost Elemental, 6-mana 5/5 Battlecry, freeze a character. It's okay. It can go hang out with the arena crew here, basically. So we have Frothing Berserker, Warrior Minion, 3-mana 2/4. Whenever minions take damage, gain +1 attack. This thing can get out of control. If you don't kill it, it can kill you. Hasn't seen a lot of play lately, even with cards like Risky Skipper in the game, but it's a really solid minion. I'll definitely give it an A. Next, we have Gadgetzee Auctioneer, 6-mana 4/4. Whenever you cast a spell, draw a card. Incredibly powerful. Hasn't seen play. There's just so many good card draw options for so many classes, and this costs 6. But I'll give it an A. It's just such an incredibly good minion, and one of my favorite of all time. Next, we have Gift of the Wild, Druid Spell, 8 mana, give your minions +2/+2 and taunt. The only time I remember seeing this play was when you cheated it out with Kael'thas, when that was like really early on in the days, and it got cut pretty quickly from there. But I'll give it a C. It's not actually terrible. It's just not really that playable. We have Gladiator's Longbow, Hunter Weapon, 7-mana 5/2. Your hero's immune while attacking, so it's Arcanite Reaper for 2 mana, and you stay immune playing in a class that doesn't usually care about that. I'll give it a very low C. It just doesn't really pop up in like Hunter ever, but again, it's not unbelievably bad. It's not quite a fail. Next, we have Gorehowl, Warrior Weapon, 7-mana 7/1. Whenever you attack a minion, you lose durability. So if you go face, it just breaks. But yeah, this is a really good staple and controller for a very long time, but really hasn't popped up lately. There's just better options nowadays, but it is a really good card. I'll give it a B, and you never know. Basically, once certain weapons rotate, Gorehowl is usually the good old fallback weapon. So we have Grommash Hellscream, 8-mana 4/9, Warrior Legendary, has charge, and plus attack while damage. Incredibly powerful minion. Really good with Inner Rage. That's like 12 damage out of nowhere. Pops up here and there. I'll give it an A. Can hang out with Archmage. It's not always meta. And like when cards like Risky Skipper aren't in the game, it's not really worth running Grom. But he's incredibly powerful and can do a lot of burst damage out of nowhere. Next, we have Gruul. So we have Gruul, 8-mana 7/7. At the end of each turn, gain +1/+1. I know people love Gruul as a meme, but he's a meme for a reason. He's an F. Just, you can never play that card. We have Harrison Jones, 5-mana 5/4. Battlecry. Destroy a weapon and you draw a card for each durability. It's a neutral card. Really good, decent tech removal option. It's neutral, removes weapons. It pops up a lot. I'll give it an A. Usually can't go wrong with Harrison if it's a remotely weapon meta. We have Harvest Golem, 3-mana 2/3, a mech. Death Rattle, summon a 2/1 mech. Insane with Oblivitron, otherwise kind of just whatever. We'll give it a C. Head Crack, 3-mana, deal 2 damage combo. Add this back to your hand. Incredibly slow, incredibly bad. Rogue never runs this. It's an F. I have High Inquisitor, Whitemane, 6-mana 6/8, Battlecry, summon all friendly minions that die this turn. I have never seen this played in a constructed deck. I've seen it taken off Zephrys when Zephrys screws up. Other than that, not really good. I'm going to give it an F. We have Hogger, it's a 6-mana 4/4. Summon a 2/2 with a taunt every single turn at the end of your turn. It's okay. It's not great. It's not bad. You're not putting it in your deck, though. I'll give it a low C. We have Holy Wrath. You draw a card and you'll deal damage equal to the mana cost of that card. We've seen it with like Molten Giants, with Shirvala, things like that. It's not amazing on its own, but when those decks work, it's pretty good. I'll give it a B. Hungry Crab is a 1-mana 1/2 beast. Destroy a Murloc, gain +2/+2. If Murlocs are good, this card can be okay. I'll give it a C. Ice Barrier, Made Secret. When your heroes attack, gain +8 armor. I mean, it's armor. Mage struggles to gain that. I'll give it an A. Pretty decent in certain mage decks like Freeze Mage, just stuff that wants to stall, and randomly discovering it, especially these days against Demon Hunter, is pretty good. We have Icicle, 2-mana spell for Mage. deal 2 damage if it's frozen, draw a card. The only deck I remember seeing the C play at all was that Mozaki Mage, and it wasn't very good, but the card's okay. I'll give it a C. We have Imp Master, 3 mana, 1/5. It takes 1 damage at the end of your turn and summons a 1/1 Imp. It's okay in like Zooish decks, but there's better options. I'll give it a C. Injured Blade Master, 3 mana, 4/7. Deal 4 damage to itself. This is actually not a priest minion, it's neutral, but typically was run in priest with like Circle of Healing, Northshire, and then you Divine Spirit, Inner Fire. Pretty decent. I'll give it a B for that reason. Inner Fire, 1 mana priest spell. You change your minion's attack equal to its health. Obviously really good in combo priest. That's kind of dead in standard because Divine Spirit's gone, but in WoW it's still a pretty decent card. I'll give it an A. It's a very powerful card, not on its own, but with conjunction with like Divine Spirit, can do some incredibly good stuff. Inner Rage, Warrior Spell, 0 mana. Deal 1 damage to a minion, give it +2 attack. Decent, you know, Enrage option. It's 0 mana, can proc like Armor Smith, can do a lot of good stuff. I'll give it an A. It can hang out with Grom. They like to hang out together on ladder as well. Ironbeak Owl, 3 mana, 2/1, Battlecry, silence a minion. It's a decent silent option. Not great, the body sucks, but I'll give it a B for that reason. Jungle Panther, 3 mana, 4/2, Stealth Beast. Certain decks can run it, but overall not great. Give it a C. Keeper of the Grove, 4 mana, 2/2, choose 1, deal 2 damage or silence a minion. And at 2/4, this was really good as a 2/2. It rarely ever sees play, but it has some versatility in silence and damage, so I'll give it a C. We have Kidnapper, Rogue Minion, 6 mana, 5/3 combo, return a minion to its owner's hand. I mean, it's a 6 mana sap for 5/3, and it has a 5/3 body, and you have to combo. It's unbelievably bad. I'll give it an F. We have King Crush, 9 mana, 8/8 beast. It has charge. It's pretty much never been playable at 9 mana. You either cheat it out or find other means to like hand buff it or something. But I'll give it a B. It's pretty iconic. He's pretty rad, but yeah, it doesn't really pop up that often. We have King Mukla, 3 mana, 5/5, neutral beast. Add 2 bananas to your opponent's hand. If you're playing an aggressive deck, it can be decent early game. You don't care about the bananas. And you can play it in like a mill deck. Overall, I'll give it a high C. It pops up once in a while. It's not the worst card in the world. We have Kirin Tor Mage, Mage Minion, 3 mana, 4/3. Your next secret this turn costs 0. Incredibly powerful in Secret Mage. Has been a staple in that since day one and will continue to be because mana cheat's incredible. And there's some pretty good synergies with like, you know, playing this in like explosive runes. How are they going to contest it? So we'll give it an A. Very solid minion. Knife Juggler, 2 mana, 2/2 minion. Whenever you summon a minion, deal 1 damage to a random enemy character. Reynad's favorite card. Not quite the Juggernaut used to be, but it's a pretty decent card still. You can play it in certain decks. We'll give it a B. Next, we have Cool Tyrion Chaplain. It's a priest minion, 2 mana, 2/3, Battlecry, give a friendly minion +2 health. Premium stats, really good upside. I've never seen a constructed deck, kind of crazy. We'll give it a high C. We have Lava Burst, Shaman Spell, 3 mana, deal 5 damage, overload 2. I mean, it's kind of worse than Fireball, but it's cheaper and you overload. You'd think it's bad, but it's a good burst option. It's been in a lot of Shaman decks throughout the years. I'll give it a very low A. We have Lay on Hands, Paladin Spell, 8 mana, restore 8 health, draw 3 cards. Way too slow these days, but it used to be a staple in a lot of control decks, combo decks, things like that. But yeah, 8 mana to draw 3 and only restore 3 health. It doesn't make the cut anymore. I'll give it a high C. We have Leper Gnome, 1 mana, 1/1, Death Rattle, deal 2 damage to enemy hero. It pops up in certain aggro decks, but it's not great. You rather get 3 of them from your side quest. But, you know, it pops up. I'll give it a C. We have Lightning Bolt, 1 mana, deal 3 damage, overload 1. Solid removal. You can play it in aggressive deck. Hell, you can just run it as cheap removal. It can hang out with Lava Burst. I'll give it a low A. Lightning Storm, 3 mana, deal 2 to 3 damage, and overload 2. It's a decent AoE for Shaman. Pops up in certain like control decks here and there. It can hang out as a low A with all the Shaman spells that are like pretty damn good. We have Light Spawn, 4 mana, 0/5 elemental, has attack equal to its health, so don't give this +3 attack spells. It doesn't work. Okay, and like Inner Fire Priest, but overall, like, it just didn't really play on its own. I'll give it a C. We have Light Warden, 1 mana, 1/2 minion that gains a neutral minion that gains +2 attack every time a character is healed. It was good in like Heal Zoo, Inner Fire Priest. It's popped up a lot more often than you would think, and if you don't kill this 2 health minion, it can get out of control. I'll give it a B. It's actually not too bad. Speaking of bad, we have Lightwell. It's a 2 mana, 0/5 priest minion. And at the start of your turn, restore 3 health to a random friendly character. Just garbage. You're never putting Lightwell in your deck. And if you do, I feel bad for you. Don't do it. Just don't. Next, we have Loot Hoarder, 2 mana, 2/1, Death Rattle minion, draw a card. Incredibly powerful. It's popped up in how many decks? It's just a super solid draw engine. I actually got to give it an S. Like, just think of every combo deck in the history of Hearthstone, and Loot Hoarder pops up in almost all of them. And hell, you even ran it in like Even Paladin just to get it with Call to Arms. Just really good. I got to give it an A, even though it's just a 2-mana 2/1 draw card. That's how good drawing cards are in the current game. We have Lord Draxus, 9-mana 3/15 Demon Battlecry. Replace your hero with Draxus. You get new hero power, Summoning Infernals. You get the badass weapon. He's not really playable at all anymore, but he's one of the most cool, iconic, badass cards of all time. But yeah, you just can't put him in your deck anymore. It makes me sad, so I'll give him a C. So we have Lore Walker Cho. It's 2-mana 0/4. Whenever a player casts a spell, put a copy into the other player's hand. You can play this in like mill decks. You can play this if you're WoW Hobbs and you're doing the Cho show. But overall, it's an S tier meme, but an F tier card. I just can't put it higher. Sorry, I can't do it. We have Mad Bomber, 2-mana 3/2 Battlecry, deal 3 damage, randomly split amongst all other characters. It's decent. It's an arena card for the most part, but you never know. You can put it in your deck, maybe. I'll give it a C. We have Malagos, 9-mana 4/12 neutral dragon, spell damage +5. S tier all the way. How many Mali decks have there been throughout the history of Hearthstone? Incredibly good. Awesome card. One of my favorites. Next we have Manatide Totem, 3-mana 0/3 totem for Shaman. At the end of your turn, draw a card. Again, card draw sucks in Shaman, but this card's pretty good, and it's decent in totem decks. I'll give it an A. Definitely can hang out with the Shaman crew. Mana Wraith, 2-mana 2/2. All minions cost 1 more. It's a counter to Deathwing. It's a tempo disruptor, kind of. Pretty awful. I'll give it the lowest of C's. Mana Worm is a 2-mana 1/3 mage minion. Used to be 1 mana and S tier. At 2 mana, sadly it's an F tier. It just doesn't make the cut anymore. Gaining +1 attack for every spell just isn't good anymore at 2 mana. Maybe if at 4 health it would be good enough. Mark of Nature, 3 mana, choose one. Either gain +4 health and taunt or +4 attack. It's okay, not bad, not great. We'll give it a C. Master Spell, 4 mana spell for mage. Silence all minions, draw a card. It's an okay draw option. It silences stuff if the meta calls for it. I'll give it a B. Master of Disguise, 4 mana 4/4. Battlecry, give a friendly minion stealth this turn. Unbelievable garbage. It's an F. Next we have Master Swordsmith, 2 mana 1/3 at the end of your turn. Give another random friendly minion +1 attack. I mean, it's okay. I'll give it a C. Next we have Millhouse Manastorm, 2 mana 4/4. Battlecry, enemy spells cost 0 next turn. Pretty much unplayable garbage. It's a beautiful meme, but it's not quite an F because you could get it from Call to Arms. I'll go with that. It's a low C. Mind Games, 4 mana spell for Priest. You get a copy of a card, a minion from your opponent's deck. Just garbage. People ran it a little bit in Priest lately when Druid only ran big minions as a counter to it, and it was still awful. Mere Entity, 3 mana mage spell. You get a copy of the last minion your opponent played. It's okay, not great. It's popped up in Secret Meech here and there, but it's fallen off a lot lately. I'll give it a B. Misdirection, Hunter spell. When your hero is attacked, the minion will attack a random character. Decent secret, not great. I'll give it a high C. It pops up once in a blue moon. We have Mogashin Warden. It's a 4 mana 1/7 taunt. Do I need to say more than that? It's an F. Mortal Strike, 4 mana spell for Warrior, deals 4 damage if your health is 12 or lower. It's a fireball, deals 6. It was like good in Pirate Warrior for a little bit, and then that was about it. I'll give it a high C. Hasn't really seen play in quite a while. We have Murloc Tidecaller, 1 mana 1/2 Murloc. Every time you play a Murloc, gain 1 attack. Really solid Murloc. I'll give it an A. It's an auto include in like any aggressive Murloc deck. Same with Murloc War Leader. He's a 3 mana 3/3 Murloc. Your other Murloc's a +2 attack. I'll give him a higher A because he's also good in anything Paladin. And just if any deck has a Murloc in it, he's pretty much in it. So we have Natalie Celine, 8 mana 8/1. Destroy it, minion, gain its health. It's pretty good. Not amazing. You don't really put it in your deck ever, but it's a good invoke option. I'll give it a C. I just haven't seen it hard run. I can't really give it a B if it's not really in meta decks at all. Nat Peggle is a 2 mana 0/4. At the start of your turn, you have a 50% chance of drawing a card. It's an F, but it used to be okay when it was at the end of your turn. You have Noble Sacrifice, 1 mana Paladin Secret. When any character, friendly character is attacked, you block it with a 2/1. I mean, it's okay. It's only good if you basically cheat it out with Mysterious Challenger, things like that. You never really hard run it. I'll give it a C. And even Secret Pally's not really deck and wild anymore. We have Nourish, 6 mana, choose 1. Draw 3 cards or gain 2 mana. Really good in Quest Druid. You can run it in certain ramp decks. I'll give it a very low B. But yeah, it still pops up today. We have Nosdarmu, 9 mana, 8/8 Dragon. Each player has 15 seconds to enact their turn. You're never putting this in your deck. It's bad. But everybody wants to know his Dormu mode, so, you know, at least we got that. We have the Nixia, 9 mana, 8/8 Battlecry, summon a bunch of 1/1 whelps on your board. I mean, it's decent like a token deck, but really, really freaking slow. I'll give it a C, though. It's not like the worst card in the world by any means. Patient Assassin, 2 mana, 1/1 stealth, Poisonous minion for Rogue. Pretty much never run, but it's okay. I'll give it a very low C. We have Perdition's Blade, 3-mana 2/2 weapon, Battlecry, deal 1 damage, combo deal 2. Pretty much not ever worth running, but again, not terrible. I'll give it a C. We have Pilfer, 1-mana rogue spell, add a random card to your hand from any class. It's okay, but you know, it's okay in Burgle Rogue. We have Pint-Sized Summoner, 2-mana 2/2. The first minion of your turn costs 1 less. You're never putting this in your deck. It's an F. Pit Lord, 4-mana 5/6 demon. Deal Battlecry, deal 5 damage to your hero. Even in the self-damaging Warlocks, they never run it. It's an F. Power of the Wild, 2-mana, choose 1 spell. Summon a 3/2 Panther or give your minions +1/+1. I'm actually going to give this an S. This is so good. It's been in Quest Druid, Token Druid, and Big Druid. Like almost any Druid deck that cares about its board at all. It's just super versatile, super good. I gotta give it an S. Incredibly strong stuff. Preparation, 0-mana rogue spell. The next spell you cast costs 2 less. Used to be S tier at 3 mana less. Now it's an A. Still pretty solid. Pops up a decent amount. Priestess of Elune, 6-mana 5/4. Restore 4 health to your hero. I call this a pointless card, and it is. It's F tier. Unbelievable garbage. Why do you open this in packs in 2020? Pyroblast, 10-mana, deal 10 damage for Mage. Pretty good. Decent. Pops up in a good amount of Mage decks. I'll give it a B. Questing Adventurer, 3-mana 2/2. Every time you play a card, gain +1/+1. This is basically a rogue card. I saw a little bit in Demon Hunter when like Twin Slice was 0. It's a really strong card. It can just, if you don't answer it, you lose the game. It's an A, very solid. Raging Worgen, 3-mana 3/3. When you take damage, it gains +1 attack and Wind Fury. Raging Worgen, OTK was a decent little deck. And other than that, this card doesn't pop up a lot. I'll give it a C. It's not exactly bad. Rampage, 2-mana warrior spell, give a damage minion +3/+3. Decent buff, pops up once in a while, but not the most amazing thing in the world. I'll give it a B. We have Ravenhold Assassin, 7-mana 7/5 stealth. It's an F. You're never putting that in your deck. Redemption, 1-mana Paladin Secret. Restore a friendly minion that just died back to 1 health. It's okay, but I'll give it a C. You're never really putting that in your deck unless you're running Mysterious Challenger. Repentance, 1-mana Secret. The next minion your opponent plays goes to 1 health. It's bad, but again, it's not quite an F. I'll give it a low C. Righteousness, Paladin spell I didn't know existed. It's 5 mana, give your minions Divine Shield. Unbelievably bad. It's an F. I've never seen anyone even play it created by. It's that bad. Savagery, 1 mana Druid spell. You deal damage equal to your hero's attack. Good card in principle, but Druid just never really has great ways of gaining attack for cheap. Even with Pounce, this wasn't worth running. I gotta give it an F. It just never pops up. We have Savannah Hymen, 6-mana 6/5 legendary minion Kappa for Hunter. Doesn't really pop a lot these days, but it used to be an iconic, insanely good minion. I'll give it a B. It's a lot of value for 1 minion. Just that isn't good enough these days. We have Scarlet Crusader, 3-mana 3/1 neutral, Divine Shield, 3/1 minion. It's alright, I'll give it a C, but again, it's nothing special. We have Scarlet Subjugator, 1-mana 2/1 priest minion, giving a minion -2 attack until your next turn. Even with cards like Cabal Acolyte and Cabal Shadow Priest, I still have never seen a C hard play, but it's a decent card. It's not horrendous. I'll give it a C. Next, we have Scavenging Hyena, 2-mana 2/2 beast for Hunter. Every time a friendly beast dies, gain +2/+1. Pretty damn good, especially when cards like Master's Call was there, and you had Link's Rushes, Spring Pop. Ridiculous. I can just win the game if it's left out of control. I'm going to give it an A. It's a really, really good minion. We have Sea Giant, 10-mana 8/8. Costs 1 less for each minion on the battlefield. Incredibly good in decks like even Shaman token decks. Cheating out Giants is incredible. Hell, it even was running Mage with like Kagdar Conch for a bit. I'm giving it an S. It's just one of the better Giants out there. We have Secret Keeper, 1-mana 1/2. Whenever a secret is played, doesn't matter if it's you playing the secret or not. Gain +1/+1. Good in secret decks, but often doesn't even make the cut there. I'll give it a B though. It's not particularly bad. Sense Demons, draw 2 demons from your deck. This card was like a joke for a long time, but now with cards like Dark Glare, Void Caller, Void Lord, or just the card that heals you when you draw it, it's a really good card. I'm going to give it an A. It's an auto-include in a lot of Warlock decks these days. We have Shadow Flame, 4 mana. Destroy a friendly minion, deal its attack to the enemy minions. Good clear, like an old hand lock. Doesn't really see play anymore, but it pops up once in a while. I'll give it a very low B. We have Shadow Madness. You gain control of a minion with 3 or less attack. And yeah, it's decent priest option. It sees play here and there. Stealing like the Mage Prime feels pretty good. I'll give it a low B. We have Shadow Step, 0-mana spell. You choose a friendly minion, return it to your hand. It costs 2 less. Unbelievably S tier for sure in Rogue. Good with, making your Edwin big. Good with lackeys, Leroy, all sorts of stuff. Incredibly versatile, really powerful. Shadow Word Ruin, 4-mana priest spell. Destroy all minions with 5 attack or more. Decent when there's a lot of big stuff in the meta. I'll give it a B. We have Shield Bearer, 1 mana 0/4 taunt. Not as terrible as you think, not an F tier. Pops up every once in a while in like hand buff decks or board buff decks. I'll give it a C. We have Shield Slam, 1 mana spell for Warrior. Deal 1 damage for every armor you have. Incredibly powerful. Gaining armor is pretty good in Warrior. And 1 mana, remove a giant minion's pretty freaking good. I'll give it an S for sure. SI Agent, 3 mana 3/3 combo, deal 2 damage for Rogue. Yeah, it's just a good tempo card. It sees a decent amount of play. Not a lot these days. I'll give it a very high B. I kind of want to give it an A, but I'll give it a high B. We have SI7, Infiltrate a Battlecry, destroy a random enemy secret. It's a secret option, but it's not really a great one. I'll give it a C. It's just, it is what it is. We have Siegebreaker, 7 mana, 5/8 taunt, give your friendly demons +1 attack. I've literally never seen this card see it play outside of Battlegrounds. I gotta give it an F. Silence, 0 mana pre-spell, silence a minion. It does what it says. It's okay. I'll give it a B. We have Silverhand Knight, 5 mana 4/4, summon a 2/2. It's an arena card. I'll give it a very low C. Silver Moon Guardian, 4 mana 3/3 neutral minion with Divine Shield. Okay, whatever. It's a C. Siphon Soul, 6 mana destroy a minion, restore 3 health. You know, it's an okay hard removal for a Warlock, but they've got better stuff to do. I'll give it a low B though. Pops up, especially in like Reno Lock. We have Slam, 2 mana deal 2 damage. If it survives, draw a card. Okay removal, execute activator. I'll give it a low B. Snake Trap, 2 mana Hunter Secret. When a friendly character or enemy minion is attacked, summon 3/1/1 snakes. Pretty good secret, pops up a lot. Getting beasts, has synergy with stuff like Scavenging Hyena, really strong. I'll give it an A. Next we have Snipe, Hunter Secret, 2 mana. When your next opponent's minion gets hit for 4 damage. It's okay, but really is very, very rarely hard run anymore. I'll give it a high C. So next is Sorcerer's Apprentice, 2 mana 3/2, your spells cost 1 less. Why in the hell has this not been nerfed yet? It's S tier, it's ridiculous. It can hang out with Edwin as to 2 cards that I don't get how are still in standard in 2020. We have Soul the Forest, 4 mana Druid spell. Give your minions Death Rattle of Summon 2/2 Treants. Really good. Token Druid, Treant Druid, all those type of Token Druid decks. I'll give it an A. It pops up a lot. It can make for an incredibly hard board to remove. South Sea Captain, 3 mana 3/3 Pirate. Give your other pirates +1/+1. I'll give it an A. Auto-included in a ton of pirate decks. Does a lot of good work. And speaking of that, we have South Sea Deckhand, 1 mana 2/1. Has charge if you have a weapon equipped. It also was like a combo card with like Cold Blood back in the day in Rogue. But yeah, you play it, you summon patches, and it's pretty solid. Not bad at all. Next we have Mage Secret Spellbender. When an enemy casts a spell on a minion, summon a 1/3 as a new target. Only time this was meta was when Spikeridge Steed was meta, and that's about it. I'll give it a C. It's not horrendous, but again, you're not putting it in your deck most likely. 5 mana 4/6, Spiteful Smith, neutral minion. When it's damaged, your weapon has +2 attack. It's an arena card, but not horrendous. I'll give it a C. We have Stampede Kodo, 5 mana 3/5 Beast, Battlecry, destroy a random enemy with 2 attack or less. I mean, it sees meta play once in a blue moon. I'll give it a C. Not bad, but mostly an arena card. Starfall, AoE for Druid. Choose 1, deal 2 damage to all minions, or 5/1. So in Quest Druid, it does both. Pretty good with Poison Seeds and Wild, spreading Plague shenanigans, and again in Quest Druid. I'll give it a low A. Pops up in a lot of Druid. It used to be a lot worse, but there's a lot of synergies with it now. Stormforge Axe, 2 mana 2/3, weapon for Shaman, Overload 1. Doesn't see a ton of play, but it's not horrendously bad. I'll give it a very low B. Stranglethorn Tiger, 5 mana 5/5 Beast with Stealth. Pops up once in a while, but again, not very meta. I'll give it a C. We have Summoning Portal, 4 mana 0/4. Your next minion costs 2 less, can't cost less than 1. Really good Snip Snap Warlock. Other than that, hasn't popped up a ton. I'll give it a low C. Sun Fury Protector, 2 mana 2/3 Battlecry. Give adjacent minions taunt. Giving your minions taunt can keep you alive, and depending on your deck, whether it be even Warlock or Handlock or hell, Dark Lair Warlock, a lot of Warlock. They want to stay alive. It can be pretty darn good. We'll give it a B. Sunwalker, 6 mana 4/5 taunt with Divine Shield. Decent minion, not terrible. We'll give it a C. Sword of Justice, 3 mana 1/5 Paladin weapon. Next minion you summon gets +1/+1. This loses durability. It's okay, not bad. I'll give it a C. Torn Chieftain, 2 mana 2/3 taunt. When it's damaged, it has +3 attack. Unbelievable garbage. It's an F. Why would you put that in your deck? Temple Forcer, 5 mana 5/6 Battlecry. Give your friendly minion +3 health. Zephyrus loves this card more than anybody, but yeah, it doesn't really go in decks that much. It's premium stats with upside, but not really worth running. I'll give it a C. We have the Beast, 6 mana 9/7 Death Rattle, summon a 3/3 for your opponent. Unbelievable garbage. It's an F. We have the Black Knight, 6 mana 4/5 Battlecry, destroy a minion that has taunt. Pretty good. You know, removing a taunt can be insane depending on the meta. I'll give it a low A. It pops up quite a bit throughout the history of Hearthstone. Thought Seals, 2 mana. Copy 2 cards from your deck. You get 2 copies in your hand. Good value. It's cheap now at 2 mana. Even at 3, it saw some play. I'll give it a B. We have Thrallmar Farseer, 3 mana, 2/3 Windfury minion. That's an F. Why are you playing that? Oh my god. Tinkmaster Overspark, 3 mana, 3/3 Battlecry. Each random minion will get turned into either 1/1 Scroll or 5/5 Beast. And yeah, it's pretty decent little tech option. Not great. It was good with like when Witching Hour was a thing. I'll give it a B. It pops up once in a while. Tyrion Forging, 8 mana, 6/6 Divine Shield Taunt minion for Paladin and Battlecry. You get Ashbringer, pretty insane weapon. I'll give him an S. He's an iconic legendary. Pops up in Paladin decks to this day and is just one of the best legendaries. I just love the guy and I wish he saw more play, honestly. We have Tome of Intellect, 1 mana mage spell, add a random mage spell to your hand. You're never really running this ever, but it's not the worst thing in the world, so I'll give it a C. Twilight Drake, 4 mana, 4/1 dragon, Battlecry, gain +1 health for each card in your hand. Really solid dragon, has seen a play in a ton of decks, dragon decks, hand decks, really solid. I'll give it the highest of A's, but not quite S tier. Twisting Nether, 8 mana, AoE for Warlock, destroy all minions. Usually too slow these days, even in like Arena Lock, all that stuff. They might run a copy. It's pretty solid. I'll give it a low A, but not as good as it used to be. Unbound Elemental, 3 mana, 2/4, whenever you play an Overload card, gain +1/+1. Infinite scaling, but Overload sucks. This card's okay. Pops up once in a while. I'll give it a high C, but it's not good enough to really be in that B territory. Unleash the Hounds. You summon a 1/1 Hound for every enemy minion, and they have charge. Really good in aggressive decks. Can be really good with, like, you know, Quest Hunter, for example, giving them plus attack. I'll give it an A. Very solid card. We have Upgrade, 1 mana warrior spell. You give your weapon an upgrade, a +1/+1. Good in Bomb Warrior, good in, like, Pirate Warrior with Ankar. Solid spell. Does a lot of good work. I'll give it an A. We have Vaporize, 3 mana mage spell. It destroys a minion that attacks your hero. It's a created by option. You're never putting this in your deck, but it does have some versatility, so I'll give it a C for that reason. Hell, people ran it a little bit during the Galakron Shaman days. We have Venture Co. Mercenary, 5 mana, 7/6. Your minions cost 2 more. The stats are not worth the downside ever. It's an F. 4 mana, 3/5 Violet Teacher. Whenever you cast a spell, summon a 1/1 token. This used to be really good in like Miracle Rogue decks and Token Druid decks. Not so much these days, but I'll give it a B. It's a really solid minion. We have Void Terror, 3 mana, 3/3 demon. It destroys adjacent minions, consumes itself, and attack, and becomes a giant thing. Not really good enough these days. Used to see play a little bit in like old school hand lot, but yeah. Doesn't really make the cut anymore. I'll give it a C. We have Wild Pyromancer, 2 mana, 3/2. Whenever you cast a spell, deal 1 damage to all minions. This card is one of my favorite cards, best design cards ever. It sees play in so many different decks, and we've seen it like with new stuff, with like Apotheosis. Hell, you could play Bringer it and give it Poisonous. Just an amazing card. I'm going to give it an A. One of the best utility cards ever. It just does so much good stuff, and I just love the card. We have Windfury Harpy, 6 mana, 4/5 Windfury minion. It's an F. Why would you ever put that in your deck? And they even nerfed the artwork. We have Wisp. It's a 0 mana, 1/1. It's infinite value, but yeah, unless it's like a hand buff deck or like Quest Rogue, you pretty much never ran it. I'll give it a low C. We have Worgen, 1 mana, 2/1 stealth. I mean, it's okay in aggressive decks. It pops up there. It'll go with Armani there. Makes sense. We have Wrath, 2 mana Druid spell. Choose 1, deal 3 damage, or deal 1 damage, draw a card. Really good in Quest Druid, or pretty much any Druid deck that plays the late game. Got pushed out a little bit by Spellstones, but I'll give it an A. It pops up in a lot of Druid decks. We have Xavius, formerly known as Illidan, 6 mana, 6/7/5 demon. Whenever you play card, summon a 2/1. It's awful. You're never putting that in your deck. It's an F. We have Young Dragonhawk, 1 mana, 1/1 Windfury Beast. Unbelievable garbage. Also an F. You're never putting that in your deck. Young Priestess, 1 mana, 2/1 minion. At the end of your turn, give a friendly minion +1 health. It's okay in like Zoo decks, but again, there's better options, so I'll give it a C. Youthful Brewmaster, 2 mana, 3/2, return a friendly minion to your hand, you bounce it. It's the best bounce option in the classic set. It's decent. Pops up as a greed option here, though, or like Quest Rogue, things like that. I'll give it a B. And lastly, we have Ysera, 9 mana, 4/12 dragon. Used to be the ultimate greed card. You got a Dream Portal card to your hand, but nowadays, too slow. You want to get it for like 0 or discovered off a Draconic Lackey. I'll give it a B. And I can catch my breath finally. That is every single classic card in Hearthstone history. That is a lot of freaking cards. Thank you, everybody, for 10,000 subs. This was an incredible run of tier lists, everything going on. We'll continue doing it. Again, let me know in the comments below what tier list you would like to see next. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Stay salty, my friends.